Welcome back, friends and fellow learners, to another exciting episode of Busting the Buzzword. Today, we are going to discuss the difference between two very effective and popular approaches to training the machine learning, that is, biased machine learning and online machine learning. Go back to your school days and imagine you're preparing for exam. Whom you correlates with? Do you think the student who prepares for exam and revises the stuff after every class, that is the correct approach to learn and get good marks in exam? Or do you think this approach is better, where I don't study and revise thing after every class, but then I'm very good in cramming things, and I do it like whenever exam is coming up, and I'm good at learning at like volume? Which one you think is correct approach, and what was your approach to exam when you were a kid? Just hold that thought for a moment and don't get tempted by this biryani. So machine learning in batch or batch machine learning is all about this, friends. So we have a data, right? We have a data, we train our model on the data we have, and then we have a model. We get a model. Now what we do, this is our server, we deploy this model on server and then let people use our model. Now in the batch learning, once model is trained and deployed, there is no learning. So that is how batch learning works. Now you may ask, right, things changes and you might get some more data. Now what we do is we start retraining the model and create a V2, version 2 of the model, and then deploy it again. So it's not that we are stopping the learning, but learning is not online in the sense there is no training happening on the server. There is no training happening on the server. So that is the beauty or approach of batch machine learning. It is like cooking biryani for the friends, cooking biryani for the wedding, where we cook for everyone at one time and then we serve the whole crowd. Because cooking biryani is a lengthy process, and it's very tough that when somebody comes and then you start cooking the biryani, and it is not possible. Hope you understand. Now let us see what are the challenges we have for batch machine learning. The thing is, we have to deal with a lot of data, because since you are training whole data at a time, so sometime you go into territory of big data. So you should know how to handle kind of big volume of data, and that is one of the challenge of batch machine learning. Second is hardware limitation, because you have a lot of big data to train at one time. Sometimes it doesn't fit your memory, right? Because for batch learning, whole of your data should be in the memory, right? Because you're training at once. So there are approaches which we'll discuss in the future series. How do we do that? But this is one of the challenge here, because you always train with the full data, right? Availability. Now this is very important, because let's say you have your model learning on a mobile app, right, which is deployed in a remote area. Imagine an army application, right? Now there not possible that you will get the resource what is required to train your model, right? And basically you should basically able to adapt to the changes in the system, which batch learning is not very good at, right? For and imagine, let's say you have a model which kind of uh, uh, gives you recommendation. Let's It gives you recommendation for what is popular right now, right? It has to be very the model has to kind of learn every day, because what is the point of no you getting something from the model that okay, this is getting famous or trending now, but in fact and the trend was actually only over 15 days back, because batch learning people do it like once in a day, once in a week. It doesn't happen on the server, right? So it doesn't have always the live data. So that is one of the challenges here in the batch learning. But if you see, because you're training all the data at a certain time, this batch learning is very popular, and then where a lot of good tools we already have around it, and then that's that, because still this is the trend in the industry. We do most of the models are actually batch trend. Now coming to this online machine learning. In the online machine learning, we have a data, right? Initial data, seed data. Again, we go for training, we create a model, deploy to server. Now, uh, then people start serving it, and maybe they will start putting some, adding some data, right? Adding some data. Now, what happens is here, learning happens continuously, even on the server. So this will solve the problem which we had in the batch learning, where the model were not update with the trend, right? This kind of online learning actually solve that problem, because it adapts to the real time, right? So we might think then this is the way to go out, right? Why we even use batch learning? So we'll discuss what are the challenges here. But imagine this is like, whenever you go to a chaiwala shop and ask for your way of, let's say, I want ginger tea, I want cardamom tea, and then he just adapts to your tests. He adapts to your test. Now let's see what are the challenges here. So basically this system is very tricky to use, okay, because tools are not as mature as batch learning, and you have to kind of do a lot of out of box thinking, and maybe do develop your internal tools to do kind of this kind of training. This part is very important, risky. Why it is risky? Because let's say your model is deployed here, right? Model is learning here, and basically what you are doing is whatever the data you get, right, live data, and you are training your model. Now very susceptible to attacks, because if there is a, malicious sector, he can give you some manipulative data, and because your model is learning online, then basically it can deteriorate its performance. So this kind of online learning requires a lot of monitoring. You need to do a lot of monitoring of your model, and you have to continuously see how it is performing, and if it is deteriorating, you have to you should really know how to root cause and fix the things. So those are the risk for online machine learning. So once now you know what is the difference between batch learning and online learning, take uh, and what is your take on like which one we should use? So this is my recommendation. And so batch learning is very good for static historical data, and online is very good if you have something scenario where things are changing very rapidly. For example, let's say you are doing some decision based upon a streaming data. So this is my recommendation, and please comment and let us let me know like how do you use these both ways of machine learning, right? So thanks guys for being with us, and hopefully you will subscribe the channel, because it helps me to create some more engaging content like this. And please subscribe to the channel. Thanks.